All right, we're here with Keith Gerson, who is president of FranConnect, and you guys have released the new franchise index. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about that? I think it will be defining for the audience that's watching this.
Thank you, Nick. So the franchise sales index addresses something that I felt that there was a significant need for. We have a lot of anecdotal information that's flying around about what the facts are of surrounding franchise development. A lot of numbers that we hear batted about that are self-reported information, and that I found, just in terms of my own personal experience, didn't seem like it necessarily measured up with the realities that I knew. So I started an endeavor on behalf of FranConnect to go ahead and take the results of 487 different franchise brands, to aggregate that information, to anonymize it, to be able to look at it based on industry size, systems, or industry type and system size, et cetera, and to create the definitive source for data to tell you exactly where and what you need to do to improve your franchise sales effectiveness.
So there's been plenty of data reports that have existed in franchising, but no one's really drilled it down directly into franchise sales. Yet, franchise development is going to be probably the most key element for any franchise brand, because without new franchisees, you're not going to become a great franchise brand. Why do you feel the industry as a whole hasn't drilled into this before? Has it been lack of just data points that they could access, or do you have now the benefit, because it working out with over 500 franchisors, that it was much easier for you to do?
I think that there's a number of factors that I think would be taken into consideration here. I think that one of the issues that we have is that a lot of people in franchise development, they may have gone through some sales training, et cetera, but even Forrester research has shown that 49% of all CRMs fail. So I thought that it was more than just a knowledge of best practices, et cetera. It's also the fact that people don't effectively know how to use their software technologies to effectively get reports, to get information that could help them significantly improve. I also want to be respectful while saying that I think that there's a lot of bad habits that exist, that people are used to selling, if you will, through, not so much through the data, but just through relationship and through the ability to be able to effectively create a connection with individuals. But that will only take you so far, especially when you're working on flawed assumptions. So we set about to basically make sure that we had the definitive data, so it was no longer a matter of my opinion or anybody's opinion. It's that when you have that much data, you know, this is based on over 600,000 leads flowing into the system. It really showed us that this was really essential to be able to help franchise development pay attention to what's really important, and give them a leading indicator of what I call the canary in the coal mine, which basically is an early warning to show you where and how you might be squandering your ad budgets, and where and how you may be failing to nurture leads, and to understand why you're not closing more deals.
Let's talk about some of the data points that at least I find not necessarily disturbing, but correctable. Yeah. The response time to leads, the actual responding to leads, and then the overall general philosophy of franchisors that let's look at data points that are average versus specific to our category and specific to our size. This is addressed within the index. Talk about what intrigued you about some of these findings, and did it frustrate you to know that a high percentage of leads don't even get interacted with?
Well, I think we've all been aware of this. You know, many of us go, for example, to the Franchise Update Leadership and Development Conference, which is a terrific event. And at that event every single year, and by the way, this was one of the catalysts for wanting to do this, at that event every single year, you know when you go there that you're going to get mystery shopped, and so you're kind of on your best behavior, and yet we would see very similar statistics to these, where franchisors were simply not returning telephone calls, not responding to leads on a timely basis. And I really wanted to know, why is it that people who really are sincerely interested in improving their results come to this event every single year and have the same abysmal response? So I felt like we needed something at FranConnect to be able to create actionable data and insights to help change behaviors.
So for franchisors that want to be smart about their development, they're going to
Yes.
look at data and they're going to use that to figure out their budget and their strategies as they go forward.
Yes.
For franchisors on this first one, how can they find this report? What is the easiest way to find it?
By going to franchiseSalesIndex.com, and you can simply just enter your information and be able to acquire the index online.
Great.
Instantly.
And as a leader in franchising, obviously you can find FranConnect all over at all the major conferences. So if you want more information, obviously go to that website or reach out to the 1851 team and we'll be sure to get it to you.
Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely. Thank you.